And I'm right there with the little box. I had my camera hidden in that little box, a shoe box. This is the headline in the San Francisco Chronicle the day after Pearl Harbor, December the 8th, 1941. And now we're here at the Topaz, Utah WRA Relocation Center in the desert of Utah. Dusty and arid desert of Topaz, Utah, 156 miles south of Salt Lake City in the Sevier Desert. And here you see some of the barracks and the distant mountain and rows of barracks. 12 barracks on either side, or 12 barracks, and in the center was the laundry, the latrine, and the dining hall, or the mess hall, as you might call it. This is a couple who met in camp and were married. They now live in Berkeley, California. And here is the picture of the staff, 17 young ladies and 4 men who staffed the Topaz Consumer Cooperative Dry Goods Store. And this is an interesting shot of the co-op dry goods store. All the people heard that we had some very difficult to get merchandise on our buying trip back east, and they're all waiting for the store to open so that they can get their hand on some of the hard to get merchandise. This is a shot of the evacuees doing a volunteer work of repairing the pipes which broke. They had used such poor material that the pipes used to break, and we had a volunteer work crew. Then I got on top of the roof to take a shot of the sea of roofs. And as you look at this picture, you will realize what a waste it was for the government to spend $300 million building 10 camps like this at $1942. This was taken on a warm Sunday afternoon, and everyone had to keep their windows closed, shut tight. And it was very hot, no air conditioning, and the wind blew and the dust blew, and the dust would come inside the cracks in the windows and the doors. Hot, dry, and dusty, and this is the way the ground looked. Very arid. And Topaz snowbound. You can see how cold it was in Topaz, and all we had were the Army potbelly stoves. Most of the people who were in Topaz were from the Bay Area, so they were not quite used to the weather. This is my father sweeping, and you know the East say the older generation like to keep things clean. So there he is sweeping away. And then we let the water out one night and made this ice rink. However, no one had skates. This young lady is the only one that had skates. And this is a shot of an evacuee family. The young man later graduated from the University of California and became an architect. And these two girls they're of Japanese and Italian ancestry. And if you had 1/8 Japanese blood, you had to go to camp. And this is the University of Utah blanket, which was given to my brother who's in the picture there on the right, who's on the University of Utah National Championship basketball team. Wat Misaka, the Utah young man from Ogden, is on the left, and he was number 5 man. My brother was number 9 man, but since he was not a native Utahn, they wouldn't take him to Madison Square Garden. They took the number 10 man, but however they gave him a blanket anyway. This was taken inside a classroom. The light, naturally the film was at that time not very good, and the light was very poor. But I'm teaching public speaking to a group of high school seniors, and I taught 5 classes of high school seniors public speaking, and this was my smallest class. The largest class had 36 young people. A picture of the Topaz High Y Club of the YMCA we formed in camp. The interesting thing about this picture is that in spite of the fact that they're in the middle of the desert, they're all dressed up in their sport coat with ties, shirt and ties. They have now announced that the coast is reopened to evacuees from January the 15th of 1945. And so this is the relocation or leave-taking of the evacuees going back to their homes. And naturally those who had homes to go back to were the first ones who were able to leave Topaz, and they're leaving Topaz in this fashion. And after they leave, all the people who are left behind, they feel quite forlorn, and they have to go back to their barracks. When will they be allowed to leave, or when can they leave? Where can they go to? And then my brother, Tut, came into camp to visit us, and the sad part is that wearing his U.S. Army uniform, he had to come through U.S. Army guards to come to visit his family. We had a friend in Delta who had a car, so he offered to take us to our train. So we're on his car leaving Topaz, and we thought for the last time, never thinking that we would go back there in another 10 years. And now at the ferry building, where some friends greeted us, back to San Francisco. And now we're going down on the car, down Japantown, Post Street, and stopped in front of our home, which we left in April of 1942. And this is May the 5th of 1945, 3 years. This is the way Topaz looks, or looked in 1955. We returned there on October the 1st of 1985, 30 years later, and it looked just about the same. Nothing but memories. This is Block 41. The mess hall floor. The concrete is still there. And to finally say farewell to us, the beautiful Topaz sunset. Farewell, Topaz. Farewell. Thank God that it's all over.